I'm going to go through some leaked information, evidence, and pretty much everything you guys need to know about the PhD DLC perk in Cold War Zombies, when exactly it's going to release, what the 5 tiered upgrades will be, and all of that good stuff. If you guys are new and would like to subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that. We're about 50 subs away from 83k on the channel, and be sure to drop a like on the video as well. Now, PhD Flopper was a perk first added to Treyarch Zombies back in Black Ops 1's DLC 1 map Ascension. It only appeared on a couple of maps after that point, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, and Moon in BO1 Zombies, and then in BO2 Zombies, you could see it in the hallway from an elevator shaft in the map Die Rise. You couldn't access that area though. Also on Mob of the Dead, you could see it outside of the map, but you couldn't use it in the map unless you were in Cell Block, which was the grief version of Mob of the Dead in that case. Black Ops 2's Origins, you could finally actually purchase the perk on the map and use it, but through the Wonderfizz machine. There was no sight of PhD in Black Ops 3 Zombies after that, and then the Zombie Chronicle 1 maps had Widow's Wine machines instead of PhD Flopper. In BO4, it did return, but as PhD Slider, pretty much the same perk, but with a sliding mechanic that would only create an explosion if you charged up for a little by just sliding a lot in the mode. Now, at least for me, PhD has always been this iconic, mysterious perk, a perk we always talked about. Treyarch would always tease us with the perk on all of these different maps, and it really wasn't in many zombie games, despite it being fairly popular. As we moved into Cold War Zombies, we got the leak back in September, before the game even came out, that we would see 4 new DLC perks added to the Wonderfizz machines throughout the game's life cycle. Those perks are Tombstone, Mule Kick, Double Tap, and PhD. We have 2 out of the 4 perks from that list in the game so far, and I recently made a video specifically talking all about Double Tap, what the 5 tiered upgrades will be for that perk, when it's going to release, and other info like that. So if you guys want to check out a video specifically about Double Tap, that video will be linked at the top of the description down below. But for PhD and Cold War Zombies, before we go through the actual tiers themselves, I want to get a general consensus on the perk. Let me know down below, do we even need this perk in this Zombies mode? Is it going to provide us with enough features that actually help us in our average Zombies game, or is it more of a gimmick and won't be as useful as most of the other base perks in the game right now? We also have to see if the perk will be PhD Flopper or PhD Slider. We don't currently have the dolphin diving mechanic in Cold War, so most likely it will be PhD Slider, but the Gaming Revolution reminded us on Twitter a couple of days ago that when the Dark Ether versions of the DLC perk jingles leaked out for Cold War Zombies, one of them was the original PhD Flopper jingle, which is very interesting. Now, that fact alone doesn't confirm that we're getting the diving mechanic. It could just be reused code from the old jingle, and they might rework it for a PhD Slider, but it is interesting info nonetheless. Let's go through here, tiers and concepts for both PhD Flopper and PhD Slider in Cold War Zombies. Now, the first one here, we have the base version of the perk, immunity to self-inflicted explosive damage. Pressing the crouch button while running will give you a dolphin dive ability, holding it still a slide, customizable on the settings. This is very interesting. So this one's actually a combination of both Flopper and Slide. Really cool concept there. Tier 1, increased radius of the dolphin diver explosion. Tier 2, increased jump height and dolphin dive animation is quicker. Looks like this guy just skipped the Tier 3 ability, so we'll just move ahead to Tier 4. Explosive damage is increased by 20%, and Tier 5, pack-a-punch pistols will now shoot explosive projectiles. So overall, pretty cool abilities here for the tiers. I don't like how the first 2 tiers are only for the dolphin diving, and the base version of this perk is that you could also make it on the slide setting. So the first 2 tiers of this perk should increase the radius of the explosion for the slide and the dolphin diving, and also the jump height and the animation might be quicker as well for sliding and dolphin diving as well. So make it so both are getting those benefits there. But overall, not a bad concept here. There's definitely some things here I would want to tweak. Let me know down below how you would change these tiers around. If this had to be in Cold War Zombies, what you would change around, what you would remove and add, what you would have for the Tier 3 version of this perk. Let me know down below. Next concept here, PhD Flopper. When sliding into a zombie, an explosion occurs and self-harm from explosives are lowered to 50%. So this is pretty much PhD Slider. Tier 1, slide 35% faster. Tier 2, increase explosive damage by 15%. And Tier 3, increase explosion radius by 50%. And we're missing the Tier 4 and Tier 5 upgrades, but overall, for the beginning of this perk, it's not bad whatsoever. So I could easily see them starting off the perk, the first 3 tiers, with some general increases in the slide sliding, the explosive damage, and the radius, but the tier 4 and tier 5 might be features or abilities from past perks and past zombie games that make PhD a lot more than just the standard perk it was in all of the past Treyarch games so far. Next one here, strictly PhD slider right from Black Ops 4. The base version, explosive damage reduced by 50%. When sliding, create explosions that damage zombies, recharges over time, so exactly how it was in Black Ops 4 zombies. Tier 1, explosion radius from sliding increased by 30%. Tier 2, sliding explosion stuns special zombies. Tier 3, carry an extra lethal equipment. Tier 4, slide for a longer distance. And finally, Tier 5, immune to explosive damage. So pretty good concepts overall. I don't know if we're going to have that Tier 3 ability of carrying extra lethal equipment. I feel like that's not going to happen. Stunning the special zombies, I could see that one. And overall, the tiers seem pretty basic. I do want a bit more of variety in these tiers. I think it is possible for PhD to stand alone as its own perk with all the abilities just pertaining to PhD itself, but I would love to see a bit more maybe abilities from other past perks in this as well to make it a bit more interesting in the mode and maybe possibly a bit more useful. But last concept here, we have the base version, increased sliding speed and removes self-inflicted splash damage from weapons. Tier 1, chance to not consume a lethal or tactical equipment when thrown. Tier 2, when hit, creates a small blast which stuns enemies temporarily. Flashbang stun grenade has a 5-second cooldown. Tier 3, hitting an enemy with a melee attack creates an explosion which deals extra damage to nearby zombies. Tier 4, reduced damage from elite zombies. And finally, Tier 5, sliding creates a landmine-like trap behind you which detonates when stepped on by an enemy, freezing zombies in place, which is a very unique one here. He says at the bottom, when making this concept, I took inspiration from Widow's Wine to satisfy the fanboys, I guess like me, since I hate to say it, but Widow's Wine and Voltrade are not coming back to the game, which is most likely the case. He is right there. Widow's Wine and Voltrade are way too thematic for them to fit well into Cold War Zombies or future maps. That's why Voltrade only showed up on Buried and why the only Widow's Wine machine is on Shadows of Evil. So he makes a good point there, and I would love to see these perks as the actual machines, the perks themselves in Cold War Zombies, but I do realize that that's not going to happen here. But that's why I've been saying to bring some of these abilities and tiers from past perks. We saw a little bit of Voltrade's ability added into the Mule Kick DLC perk we just got with Mauer Toten, and tier 1 of this concept where you have a chance to not consume a lethal or tactical equipment when thrown. That's kind of similar to what we have now with Mule Kick and Cold War, so most likely that's not going to be here in PhD, but overall, pretty solid ideas here, not bad at all. Let me know down below your 5-tier ideas for the PhD perk in the game. Will it be PhD Flopper, PhD Slider? What perk will you bring it together with? Let me know. I'm gonna make a big video going through all of the concepts you guys commented on my double tap video, and then also the PhD video we're making right now. But overall, as I said, it seems like PhD can stand alone as its own perk. Personally, I want some of the tiers to be from the old perks. As we said, bringing some of the Widow's Wine features back would be really cool. Also because it was PhD's replacement in Black Ops 3. They had Widow's Wine instead of PhD on all of those maps. So there is some kind of relation, synergy there maybe. And I feel like overall, it could make sense. But if there's another perk, maybe from BO4 I'm not aware of, or another past perk you want them to bring together with PhD, let me know down below. And for the release date of the perk, how exactly are we going to get this perk in Cold War? Because as we said before, we originally thought that we would have one new DLC perk added to every new DLC round-based zombies map. Once we realized that Outbreak was in fact DLC 2 and it didn't include a new DLC perk, it's been hard to figure out how exactly we're going to get 2 more DLC perks with only 1 more round-based map expected to release DLC 4 in September. The simple answer might just be that this final DLC 4 map will just introduce 2 new perks, 2 new perk machines on the map, PhD and Double Tap. Or if Zombie Chronicles 2, that update, that map pack comes into the mix and releases sooner than expected, it might release during Season 6 in October, for example, we could see 1 perk release in DLC 4 and 1 release on all of the new ZC2 maps. So that could happen as well. Let me know down below if that's the case. What perk do you want to see first in this game? Do you want to have Double Tap first in DLC 4, or do you want to have PhD? Another crazy option could be that we get a new DLC perk before September, before the final round-based map, and we get it on Outbreak, which would be kind of crazy, and I feel like most people would not like that, but who knows? It could happen. Let me know down below, again, what do you want to see there? But that's pretty much it here. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below all of your ideas, your opinions on PhD and Cold War Zombies. There are 2 videos up on screen that may interest you, so be sure to check one of them out. Real do appreciate it, guys. Shout out to the YouTube channel members, as always. Really appreciate you guys supporting the channel like crazy, and I will see you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace out, guys.